Hi, Alicia. How are you?
So good. So
So good. Well,
good.
we were just literally talking before I hit record about how well you're a past SBA student and client, but I still feel really connected to you because you're just showing up on Instagram and your work is just so beautiful and so divine and so needed right now. So before we kind of dive in, do you want to share what you do and who you are, please?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for all of that. It means the world. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. So I'm Alicia, and I am a certified. My business is Alicia Joy Healing, and I'm a certified hypnotherapist and holistic health coach. And I work primarily with hypnotherapy using the coaching as a supportive tool with my clients. And primarily the work that I focus on is really supporting mostly women, but individuals of all kind, who are struggling with, this having to face and really we all do have to face uncertainty, right? But it's really struggling with this like change and the uncertainty of the next move, and helping to empower these individuals to access like the subconscious mind in order to create changes. And so yeah, I found amazing progress in my clients working at that level.
Yeah, well, it's ultimately, I mean, when you think about it, it's like unless we change the root of what's happening, how is it possible to change anything in our lives without rubber banding straight back? So, uh,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah. It is
where
really
were
beautiful.
yeah, absolutely. Well, and that kind of I actually can't remember this either, so I'm really curious. So, had before you came to us, were you already doing this work? Were you getting clients or were you fairly new to it?
Okay, so yeah, I was fairly new to it, but
Okay.
and I was getting clients. I
Mhm.
had been in a program, it was a year-long program, and I had been out of that program for about 6 months, but I had been seeing clients and working with clients pro bono for a while, and then I started seeing some paying clients. So I had been seeing clients for over the year, but not quite, at the same capacity. So just a client here and there, a session here and there. Word of mouth has always been amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. So then you had already had some, like you were not a brand new starting from scratch, but what
Mhm.
made you I guess sign up for Soul Business Accelerator? What were you struggling? And the reason why I'm asking that is because I feel like there are so many women who are at the beginning of their journeys or they're dabbling in it or they're getting clients here and there. And I think a lot of times that's where women give up the most because we're not seeing consistent success. We start doubting ourselves. We start feeling like this is too hard. I don't know what I'm doing. There's so much overwhelm. But where were you and what was going on with you when you found us and decided to jump into Soul Business Accelerator? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do actually. I remember because I had been having some success just getting the one client here and there, but I was not really seeing the commitment in some of these clients with continuing some of the work. At times that wasn't there, but also just for myself, like seeing this as really being viable. At the time I was working also part-time as a substitute teacher because I had been a teacher for 18 years, and then I started this career, and so I was still kind of managing both this new career path for myself and subbing here and there. And so what I was really wanting to envision is embodying this path 100%. And I saw and felt that it wasn't going to happen in this way, right? And it didn't mean that I had to like completely quit teaching or my substituting here and there, but it meant I had to refocus what I was doing.
Yeah.
And honestly, Erica, what really appealed to me, there are a couple of things that appealed to me about about the SBA was that so I had a slight aversion to, and it was partly because of my own discomfort, to social media. And using social media. I was not, and I didn't have the confidence in using it as a tool, but I also didn't really want to, because I had already felt and experienced a great deal of, I mean, for me, starting my business, I had some great success just through word of mouth. And
Yeah.
so what really appealed to me was one of the things that really appealed to me was that SBA, and the way that you communicated it was, this is not about spending hours and hours on social media and trying to figure out the right way of managing and using. And it's just, I felt supported in, oh, I can make, like, and what you had said, you said, don't even dive into that as a primary source of marketing until you're at 5 or 8K months.
Right.
And that was just kind of like, oh, yes. So what is this about? And a friend of mine she also had joined in. She was the one who kind of brought this program to my attention. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And honestly, I didn't have very much in my account and financially, but I had just the right amount to pay for this program, maybe shy of like a little bit, just the right amount. It was the conversations that I had about the guarantee, and at the time it wasn't the money back, but or the extension, but it was the guarantee that I would make my return on investment. And that piece and the confidence of that communicated to me, and not in like this like uber salesy way, but in a way like, we are going to hold you. We are going to make it happen with and for you.
Yeah.
That's what I felt. And that's what really drew me in. And I had a lot of vacillating here and there. I wasn't sure. But then, I mean, it didn't take long. I was like, I got to do this. I got to at least try. So
You got to at least try. And did you earn back your investment?
I did, amazingly enough. I mean, it just one step at a time. And within 6 weeks, by that second month, I had made back my return on investment. Yay. I know. It was so exciting. You know what is amazing too? I have to say this, like, I just looked at my stories on Instagram and archive stories, and the one that popped up was one that communicated my beta program a year ago.
You created inside of SBA.
Yeah. So
the little baby beta.
I know, so fun. It's great. It was wonderful. It was really the catalyst for me in so many ways of embodying the 6-figure healer.
Yes.
That was one of the affirmations. I had been writing affirmations every night, and I had a version of that affirmation. But I have continued to use that affirmation and others. And that also was such a helpful tool each day, right? This is who I am. This is how I'm showing up in the world. And I think, that also helped to inspire me a great deal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, and I think too, when I created the program, it was everything that I wished I would have had when I was starting out, as a new coach. I wanted to not waste time. There's so much noise out there about what to do, when to do it, what to offer, how to do it. It's like, there's so much noise out there. And I think also, like you mentioned before, there's a lot of really good marketers out there that can sell you into programs, but then don't deliver results. So that's really where our guarantee was. But just from like just a woman starting a business and a woman wanting to hit 6 figures, and really speaking to the women who not necessarily have invested in this program, maybe they have, maybe they haven't, but just to women at the beginning stages in general, what would be your biggest piece of advice to them? And I think what was also just the most helpful shift, either in your marketing or your business, that you made during your time working with us?
I think really meeting yourself. This is the advice that I give, like really meeting yourself where you are,
Yeah.
And trusting that the coaches in the program, particularly you and Mandy, and then those weekly meetings that we had, were extremely supportive in helping me to meet myself where I was, because I was at a different place than all different people in this program.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and for me, it felt very aligned for me to just, okay, this is about creating this my own signature program and about seeing how it goes. And so for me, it did involve a little bit of releasing some of my ego around how much am I going to charge and what's this. It was just like, let's get people in. And I started at 50% off, over 50% off. I made the price low, but it also expanded from there. And like each month I increased the amount of the program. So it was just this process of learning too, just being very open to meeting myself where I was and learning what I needed to do and gleaning, really the support from all of you in making that happen.
Mm.
Not stalling out, right? I mean, we do stall out and there's information in stalling out, but not getting stuck in it. Like, just seeing that as part of growth. I mean, it's essential. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
And was there something else? I'm sorry. Or another.
Oh, no, I asked two questions at once because I got excited, but I think the other one was, what was the biggest, I guess, shift that you made in your business, or, from what you were doing before to what you then started doing and are doing now during your time inside the program?
How I conceptualized my offerings, what I was doing. So from just it being like a single one-off session to there being a lot of different ways to engage with me and the work that I do, right? Yeah, that's still an option, but then there's this program, and then there's also, there are the workshops. So also for me, that was new, right? Really like putting myself out there and getting, some workshops on the calendar and bringing in people to my ecosystem that way.
Yeah. Rather than just continually posting on social media and doing nothing else.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was key. That was key. And so overall, I mean, really just how I conceptualize my business, my service work, my impact work is so much more broad. Right?
Mhm.
It encompasses so much more. So
Mhm. Amazing. And just for what, I guess, what I always like to hear too is, as someone who's not in the very beginning stages anymore, what would your advice be to someone who is just starting out and where you were in the beginning?
mm, be vulnerable. That was important for me.
Hmm.
Trust the support that's there in the program for you. Don't be afraid to reach out and to ask questions. I mean, that seems so basic, but I think, for me, that was important. Um, and be all in as much as is possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's, it's so essential, I think, for people to see that their path is unique, right? And
Right.
that it doesn't, I mean, you can still have these yeah, I guess these goals or these aspects of yes, like the workshop is super supportive, having a program is really supportive, but how that looks for so many reasons based on your personality and based on what you offer and all of it, like really embrace that to me is huge. It's so important to really show up authentically for yourself in whatever endeavor that
Mhm.
you take. So
I could not agree more. And what about if somebody's watching that has not joined SBA and they're on the fence or they're thinking about it? What would you share with them?
oh goodness. I mean, for me, honestly, I mean, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that you will get out of it what you are wanting to get out of it, and more, it's, so I would just say, just do it, dive in, trust it, trust the support that's there. I mean, I I really, really did. I completely dove in, and I earned that back. Someone who, trust me, I tend to consider myself not the most dialed. And so someone who was just kind of like, oh, all right, I'm open.
Yeah.
And I earned that back in 6 weeks, and earned so much more from that point on. So
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Where can we find you? Tell us how we can find you and your beautiful work.
yes, yes. So my website is aliciajoyhealing.com. And I have the same Instagram handle as well. So that's how you can find me. It's at aliciajoy.healing on Instagram. So
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your story with us.
mm,
Such a gem.
thank
Everyone should
you.
definitely go and find you and your work. And it's so powerful. And even the work that you do, I think really benefits entrepreneurs as well, because so much of being able to put ourselves out there and well, we talk about this in the program, even it's like, if we want to create something that doesn't exist, strategy, I can give you strategy all day long, which we do. And also so much of that happens in our mind before we actually even implement. And so we definitely, that's what all of our coaches are in there for, but your work just takes it to the next level. And we're just so grateful for people like you on this planet. So thank you.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank you so much.
Love you.